Hello guys, welcome back to a coder's journey. This is the next video, the second video of this tutorial where we are learning about Playwright. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the previous episode. If you haven't watched it, please make sure you do. In the previous video, we set up the project for Playwright. And now we also wrote two tests, and now we are going to dive deep into the documentation to get ourselves familiar with the different concepts of Playwright. So this is the documentation. So writing tests, good. Now that we have the Playwright project set up on our machines, it would be much quicker. So we will be able to move rapidly to see the different types of tests in action. Playwright tests are simple. They perform actions and assert the state against expectations. Of course, that's all there is to tests. There is no need to wait for anything prior to performing an action. Playwright automatically waits for the wide range of actionability. So this is a new term, a new concept probably in Playwright. I'm going to open it in a new tab. Take a look at it. Auto weighting. Playwright performs a range of actionability checks on the elements before making actions to ensure. It means that, it waits until a button becomes visible before clicking it, probably. These actions behave as expected. It auto waits for all the relevant checks to pass and only then performs the requested action. If the required action do not pass within the given timeout, action fails with the timeout error. There is also no need to deal with the race conditions when performing the checks. Playwright assertions are designed in a way that they describe the expectations that need to be eventually met. That's it. These design choices allow Playwright user to forget all about flaky timeouts and racy checks in their tests altogether. Let's check flaky. Flaky tending to break into small thin pieces. Or it means a flaky person is slightly strange or often forgets things. So flaky, forget about flaky timeout. So flaky means something that breaks flaky and it causes problems. You will learn how to write the first test, how to perform actions, how to use assertions, how tests run in isolation, how to use test hooks. So take a look at the following example. Let's take a look at it. We wrote this test in the previous episode. Basically, it is navigating to a page, and then it is expecting the page to have a specific title. And then this one, get started link. We also wrote this one in the previous episode. So these two tests, if you take a look here, you've got this one, you've got this one, right? These are the two tests that we wrote. So let me minimize this. Actions, navigation. Most of the tests will start by navigating to the page. After that, the test will be able to interact. Yes, we navigate using go to sync. Playwright will wait for the page to reach the load state prior to moving forward. Okay. Interactions. Performing actions that start with locating elements. Playwright uses locators API. It is locating the a link, the anchor tag. Locators represent a way to find elements on the page at any moment. Learn more about different types of locators available. So there are different types of locators. We can locate by role, by text, by label. If, for example, we go to text, find an element by the text it contains. You can match by a substring, exact string, or a regular expression when using getText. So for example, this is a span, right? And consider the following DOM structure, a span. And it is saying that, you know what? Get by text, get this span by text, and to be visible, set an exact match. So right now it is saying get by text, exact true. So it means that the span has to exactly contain this text. So basically, let's not deviate from the main topic. Basically, there are different locators API, right? Different methods that Playwright offers so that we can, select the different elements on a web page. Playwright will wait for the element to be actionable. So it means it becomes, let's say available, right? So that Playwright can interact with it prior to performing the action. So there is no need to wait for it. With Selenium, if I'm not mistaken, because I have used Selenium for UI testing, you need to, I think, I'm not sure, you need to do this. You need to take care of all of these yourself. You need to, wait for the element to become visible. And then, so, I mean, you get the element, you locate it, create a locator, and then you interact with it. You click it. In most cases, it'll be written in one line. You wait for it until it becomes actionable, and then you interact with it. Basic actions. So these are the list of most popular Playwright actions. Note that there are many more. So make sure to check the locator API. I think in one of the videos in this playlist, I'm gonna create different web pages so that I can experiment with the locator API. And of course, there are different actions. We took a look at click. Probably check and uncheck. Check the input checkbox. Yes, they work with the checkboxes. Hover, fill, focus, press, and so on. Assertions. So right now we learned about actions, interactions, navigation. Now we're going to talk about assertions. Playwright provides an async function called expect. Expect is asynchronous. Exactly. That's the reason why we used await here. Called expect to assert and wait until the expected action is met. The expectation here is that the page contains this text in the title. Here is the list of the most popular async assertions. The different assertions that there are: to be checked async, to be enabled, to be visible, and so on. Test isolation, what does it mean? The Playwright NUnit and MS test framework base classes will isolate each test from each other by providing a separate page instance. Pages are isolated between tests due to the browser context, which is equivalent to a brand new browser profile, where every test gets a fresh environment. Even when, test isolation is a very important concept in testing, because you do not want your tests to be dependent on one another, because if that happens, you cannot be sure, you cannot determine whether a test passed or failed because it has a dependency on another test or not. So it is very important to test in isolation, or to run your tests in isolation. So it is telling us that Playwright tries to provide a separate page instance, like a browser context, for every test, so that the tests run in isolation. Using test hooks, you can use initialize async, dispose async to prepare and clean up your test environment. So there are two methods that you can use in other test frameworks. Sometimes they're called teardown and setup. In order to do some cleanup or setup. So basically what I can do, of course, you see here, these setup and tear down steps, or initialize, dispose, they do not have this fact attribute. So basically what I can do is I can override initialize, and I can override dispose, and then I can do things here. For example, for the initialize, I can say, based on the documentation, I can copy this guy and take it here and remove it from here, because it is getting executed on these two tests. So I'm not going to return, I'm going to await this guy, override asynchronous task, and then I'm gonna put asynchronous here. I'm not gonna return you, I'm gonna await you. And then for the dispose, according to documentation, it is saying console write line something. So let's do this here. So we are probably going to run this guy here. What I can do, I think I can put some breakpoints here, and then I can debug this and see if I hit these breakpoints. So I can debug test, Control R, Control T. So Control R, Control T, and then Control RT is for running the test. So let's see if we hit this breakpoint. Yes. So the initialize async is ran, right? And then of course we can go to the next step, and then this guy is going to get executed, right? And after this guy gets executed, now we are in the dispose async step, and we're done. Now let me put some breakpoints here and run. No, I'm not gonna run. I'm gonna close this guy. I'm gonna debug, for example, this little guy, debug test. Let's see what happens. So first, initialize async is hit, then this is hit, and finally the dispose async is hit. So this is what initialize async and dispose async is doing. Now I'm going to continue, and then I can also debug this one as well. So again, for this one, because everything is ran in isolation, the tests are done, are running in isolation. Again, for this one, the initialize async, after that this little guy, and after that the cleanup stage. That's it. Great. So yeah, what's next? Running a single test, multiple test headed mode. And that is the topic for the next video. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If that's the case, as before, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and stay tuned for the next video. Also, leave a comment and tell me whether you enjoy these videos or not. I mean, this style of tutorials where everything is real. I haven't set up or prepared anything from before. And as I told you, I encounter issues. I face, problems and bugs. I need to resolve them. But I think that gives you a better, idea of what you also need to do on your machine. So until the next video, bye-bye.